and band director Trey Reely here, and this is my second video on top 10 mistakes that band directors make. In my first video, I discussed not calling or contacting parents enough as a mistake, and the second mistake I talked about was not singing enough in rehearsal with your students. Now, today's topic I put off until this video, and the topic is procrastination. I know I said in the last video we were going to talk about 2 today, but I decided to put off the 4th one until the next video. Today, we're going to be talking, as I mentioned, about procrastination. Have you ever procrastinated? I'm sure you have, because everybody has. I know that I have. And when I think of the worst example of procrastination that I've ever had in my life, it has to do with dental floss. Several years ago, I went to the dentist, and I don't know if you ever noticed this, but dentists and dental hygienists have a real way of kind of making you feel guilty. You know, they're nice about it, but when you haven't flossed or brushed your teeth or used mouthwash or whatever you should, you know, they kind of shame you a little bit. And they did a really fine job one time. And as I was leaving, they gave me the little plastic bag with the little tube of toothpaste and some dental floss, maybe a brochure on how your teeth rot out if you don't properly care for your teeth. I don't know. But I took that home. And I committed myself that I was going to start the next day flossing my teeth. And so I took the little dispenser out of dental floss and set it on the counter of our bathroom, fully intending to dental floss the next day. Well, as you suspect, because of the title of today's video of procrastination, that I didn't do it the next day. In fact, I am not exaggerating if I tell you that I looked at that dispenser of dental floss every day for over a year and did not floss. I would look at it and say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start soon. And after about a year, I walked in to the bathroom one time and I looked down, as was my tradition, and it was gone. And I asked my wife, I said, where is my dental floss? And she says, you're never going to use it. I put it up. I said, no, I'm going to use it tomorrow. Which I didn't. But I will tell you, happy ending the story, I did eventually start flossing like I was supposed to. In fact, I even flossed this morning, and I know that makes you very happy. And I can't even imagine what I would look like now if I hadn't started flossing regularly from that time when I stopped procrastinating up to now. I mean, I just can't even picture it. I suppose I could move to Arkansas or something, you know. Oh, wait, I am from Arkansas. Oh, sorry, insulted myself. But anyway, so today we're going to talk about 2 reasons that we procrastinate and maybe a couple helpful suggestions on how not to procrastinate. And then I'll have some bonus information on when it's good to procrastinate. Yes, procrastination can be a good thing. So first, I think the number 1 reason that we procrastinate is usually because it's something that we dislike or we even hate. I can tell you when it comes to band directing, I hate paperwork. All the forms you have to fill out. Registration this, registration that. But it's something you really need to get a hold of. And I think one suggestion to help you not procrastinate on anything is to not be selfish, to think in terms of how your procrastination affects other people. Because for most things that you put off, it delays somebody else in accomplishing what they need to accomplish. Flossing teeth, I don't know. I guess it does penalize others if you've got spinach sticking out of your teeth all the time because you don't floss. Or maybe you have to pay a higher dental bill out of the family's income because your teeth are rotting and falling out. So even flossing can affect others in a negative way. But paperwork almost always does. And I can tell you, if you ever host some type of region or state event where you are the one who collects the registration forms and the registration fees, you fully appreciate this idea of how much procrastination affects you negatively. If you haven't ever hosted anything, please be as understanding as you can and get your stuff in early. Consider the host of that event. Consider those who are collecting your registration fees. Because I even do that now for an organization. And I can't tell you, every year I have to take extra trips to the bank because of people that get their stuff and late. I have to field the phone calls, pleading for mercy and letting them get their stuff in. Now, sure, there's things that happen. Bookkeepers, gone for 2 weeks. They can't cut you the check. There's stuff like that. It happens to all of us. It's happened to me. But I can tell you from hosting things for years and years that it's always the same people who procrastinate. Every year I can tell you who is going to have their stuff in late and whose check is not going to be there. And I'm even nice enough to call them and say, are you joining this year? Or I haven't gotten your check yet, that kind of thing, which I don't have to do. Just don't be that person that it's just a way of life for it and that you're always late, because it does inconvenience other people. Second reason and this might actually be a reason we procrastinate more than just stuff that we dislike. It might be that you just feel overwhelmed. I know there's a lot of times that I don't get things done because I just have so much to do. And certain things deserve to be done later, but sometimes we let things that should be done immediately get pushed later, and they shouldn't. The only practical solution I have for you on that one is just to get organized. The better organized you are, come up with your own system, but the better organized you are, the more likely you are to do things on time. I use a checklist system. It's too complicated, too personal to share, but basically I live by the checklist. I have more checklists than this, but I have a daily checklist, a weekly checklist, and a monthly checklist. And I do them on different colored cards because it makes them stand out a little bit. If they're white, they have a tendency to blend in with my desk calendar. And I just live by the checklist. It helps me prioritize what needs to be done. It takes a lot of stress. Some days, that's what I do to relieve stress. I just set out everything that I have to do. It might seem kind of overwhelming, but somehow once I have it down on paper, I let it go out of my mind because it's there and I know I'm not going to forget it. So use checklists. Try that. Now, when are good times to procrastinate? There are some good ones. But you have to be really sneaky. I kind of probably ought to put a warning label. First suggestion has to do with educational fads that come in, and they're not musical fads. They're something that cover your whole district or your whole school. And I can tell you, having taught for over 30 years, that most of these fads, they are going to die at some point. Some die a quick death. Some take several months. Some take years to die. And you have to be able to judge wisely how long some particular fad that you feel is a total waste of time is going to last, because that's going to determine how long you procrastinate. Also going to be determined somewhat by who you work with and how well they keep track of things. For example, a number of years ago, we went through a portfolio craze, and we were going to have a portfolio at our high school that chronicled the collected work of every student in our school. And they expected me as a high school band director with over 100 band members to keep a portfolio on every one of those kids and what they do for 4 years. Now, as you can imagine, I was not a real happy camper in the first meeting, okay? I was not all Mr. Smiles at this. I was like, great. I was looking for something else to do here. And so I calculated, I said, I am going to put this off. And because it was just ridiculous. Number one, I don't think I possibly even had the time to do this along with regular band directing responsibilities. Number two, the person they put in charge of it, I didn't think was going to be able to keep track of this. I'd never seen them complete anything any time that I'd worked with them. So I thought, I'm going to wait. And if I do this, it's going to be at the very, very last minute because I don't want to waste my time. Now, my assistant, who was young at that time period, kind of inexperienced, jumps in on all the new stuff with great enthusiasm. And we need those people, by the way. We need them. But he bought a bunch of VHS tapes. Do you even know what those are? You can tell us stories from a long time ago. And he started videoing all of his students and having a video portfolio. And I'm like, I am not going to do any of that. But he got doing all that. Well, sure enough, around April or May, we stopped hearing anything about this portfolio business, and it died a very quiet death. And I didn't go around asking about it. I just knew I hadn't heard anything in a long time. And so it died. I didn't waste any time because I procrastinated. And the other good news is we had a lot of VHS tapes from my assistant that we could video things over. So it's a happy ending there. And so that's a good thing. Now, another good time to procrastinate is when it comes to new technological things. Now, maybe you're one of these guys that loves to jump in and solve technological software, hardware problems. Okay? Maybe you love that, and that's great. We need people like you. We do. But when we introduce something like that, some new software thing and all that at school in a new program, I'm never the one to jump in and try to solve all those initial problems. I'm just too busy. And so what I do is I procrastinate. And so for weeks, I'm kind of like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. While everybody else is working on the problem. Because there's people that enjoy that. Let them do it. They like it. You're not burdening anybody. And then when they solve all the problems, then you visit their classroom or you email them and say, can I have some help? I don't understand this. And they have all the bugs worked out. And so what they tell you is very, very accurate. You're efficient. You learn it. You know what you're doing. And you've saved 20 hours of your time where you can give lessons or do something else. Maybe do some paperwork that you don't want to do. So procrastination can be good. Okay, so to review, if you find yourself wanting to procrastinate because you dislike or hate something, consider the other people that it can affect. Also keep in mind that it is a mindset, and you can shift over to the mindset of if you hate or dislike something, it's an unpleasant task, do it quickly, get it over with. And also, if you find yourself procrastinating because you're overwhelmed, then get organized. And also remember there's some good aspects to procrastination, but handle them with care.